Welcome to Dog Moms Do Business,
the podcast where two lifelong friends find sisterhood in business, life, and being crazy millennial dog moms. We're your hosts, Ellen Broen
and Jasmine Jonte. And today's episode is all about
our current favorite TV shows, movies, and content that keeps us busy before Bridgerton drops next week.
Because let's be real,
we're excited.
That's what we're going to be doing.
Yes. For real, we were looking up the recap of season 2 of what happened in Bridgerton 2 because the Queen one, the spinoff show, Queen Charlotte came out after season 2 was dropped. So that's what's more in memory for me of plot devices.
And I went back and rewatched some of season 1. Because
that's
I liked that season better.
Because it was hotter.
It was hotter, yes. And just something about, I think I just liked their dynamic more than I liked the dynamic of the couple, the main storyline in season 2.
Yeah.
And now, it's like we have the full trailer for season 3, and I've always loved Penelope. It is Penelope, right?
Penelope.
Yeah, I've always loved
Featherington.
Nicola. Nicola's the name of the actress.
Oh, that's her name. Oh, yeah, she's in other stuff.
She's in a lot of other stuff, and now you've kind of
stuff.
seen her pop up elsewhere. But yeah, she was in Dairy Girls, I think, and some other things. But anywho.
Very excited about that. So
coming soon.
Diving into, well, you can just ping pong back and forth, I guess.
Sounds great.
All right, I'll start. So I'm going to start with my YouTubes because we all know I'm a YouTube fan. This randomly came up on my radar, and now I've just really gone ham on their content because it just really lit a lot of curiosity and kind of just inspiration for me. And it's called Cinema Therapy. And it's basically a channel between two best friends, which is kind of my thing. I apparently am obsessed with best friend content. This is news to me. But so the algorithm has pegged me and figured me out. And it's basically two best friends who've known each other, I think, since college, it seems like. They're dynamic. They've known each other for decades. They're both married and older and, 40s, maybe late 40s. And one is a filmographer or a filmmaker. And he... so one's a filmmaker and one's a certified therapist who calls himself an expert in relationships. And they watch movies together. Anything from Disney, Pixar to, trilogy, the Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, what's the vampire one? Twilight, those kind of epic series to, new stuff that's coming out, comedies. They really kind of have a diverse array of reaction videos to these movies. And it's really interesting to me because they deep dive, they watch it on their own, and then they pick key clips from the movie to break down. So the film guy is going to really give a really unique perspective. I'm not a film person. I don't know a ton about filmmaking and stuff like that. So he picks apart these the lighting and the writing and the outfits and the positioning of the angles of the faces to each other. He'll point out all these things that as a, native viewer, I'm not going to really notice. I'm just going to receive that experience, but he's going to be pick it apart, and it was really cool. And then the therapist guy is always noting the dynamics of the relationships of the people that are going on, and especially the romantic relationships, since he's a family therapist, basically helps people through divorce and helps, healthy relationships occur. And I'm obsessed. I just absolutely love watching all these movies from that lens that I've seen. They even did Ted Lasso. They talked about that's their one exception. They've never done a show before, but they're both obsessed with Ted Lasso because rightfully so. And so, yeah, they just kind of really break it down, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Very
Highly
cool.
recommend. Cinema Therapy on YouTube.
I often see camera shots, camera angles, certain positioning. I don't know I don't have the vocabulary for it, but when I'm watching with Brad and I'll say, hey, oh, do you see that? Oh, that was really cool. Or, oh, that line was really clever, or whatever. And he often responds with, gosh, do you always zoom out like that? Because from his perspective, he's in the story, he's watching it as a viewer. But yeah, a lot of times I find myself zooming out, and you will do the same thing about relationship dynamics.
Yeah.
Watching whatever we're watching. Like,
yeah.
oh, there's, avoidant attachment or whatever. And I'm like not thinking about that at all.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it's,
maybe we should do our
fascinating.
own thing.
We could do our own cinema, but I'm not, I'm not a filmmaker. I just think like, oh, that was different and unique. And I see how, or like, I see how
I feel like you
that
could,
shot made that thing.
but you could
emotion.
like lay out, like if you were to kind of observe the script or something, or like, I don't know, there's the teacher brain in you that can pick out elements. Cause I know you want to write a screen, what was it called? A script, I guess.
I'm into writing for TV.
So like,
I'm into.
You've considered writing a script to submit.
Yeah. Like some of my favorites from on this episode are because the writing is good.
Yeah.
Like I can tell that the writing is good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a germ of an idea here to react to things and discuss. But there you go. Cinema therapy.
Interesting.
Very fun.
Very fun. I don't have anything on my list that's related to YouTube or social media or any of that. But I do have a throwback on here.
Do tell.
So, long story short, there's kind of been some personal life shakeups and everything's fine. Relax. It's all good. But I needed something to truly just distract, binge watch, mindless, and kind of embarrassing.
What is it? What is
embarrassing. So it came out in 2009.
Oh God.
And it's called Make It or Break It. And it's like these teenagers who do gymnastics and are like trying to get to the Olympics.
Oh my.
And it's all the dynamics. It's of like the toxicity of like the parents who are dating each other and the kids and the coaches and like the politics of gymnastics and the skills of gymnastics and whatever. And it is like teenagers at their worst.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me, it kind of is like a throwback to the OC. And like when I was younger and I could just like, I loved the OC and I could watch the OC or like, High School Musical, because it's all around that same time frame, right?
Yeah.
The outfits are from the time frame, the language is from the time frame. Like even the mom jeans that the moms are wearing are like, yeah, moms would wear mom jeans like that, not mom jeans like now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's there's like 2 seasons. It's
wow.
Very.
So how did that come to be? Where did you find it?
I was literally just on Hulu and I was like, I need something that's not a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
And ideally it's a full series. And ideally it's something a little bit of interest. And the gymnastics themselves, like really fucking, like these women are super, super talented. So there is that element of kind of like learning about the different apparatuses and like seeing the artistry of it. And then, like the drama, I could probably take it or leave it. But
yeah.
At
least it's like high school drama.
It's high school drama and kind of moves the storyline forward and whatever.
Wow. Only 2 seasons.
There's 2 long seasons, and the 3rd season I think is like 8 episodes. So I don't know if they canceled it sooner than, I don't know what the story was. But
Did you finish it?
No, I haven't finished it. But what's wild is like all of the actresses, I don't know them from anything else.
Oh, is it acted or is it like documentary style?
Oh no, it's acting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I was picturing like that cheerleading documentary.
No.
Like that these are like real high schoolers going through real shit.
No, not a documentary. It's very acted, very badly acted.
Nice. Okay, got it. No, High School Musical makes sense. Got it. Okay.
And but what's interesting is all of these characters, like I don't recall. Actually, there's actually one character who I know in something else, but everyone else, and he played a pretty small part. I'm pretty good at knowing, oh, this guy was in that. Like I've played that game with my dad since I was a kid, so I'm very good at that game. And then I was like, okay, come on, I got to look it up one of them went to law school. Oh, and like one of them still kind of does acting a little bit, and then it like, so very interesting, kind of weird, random. But if you're looking for something to distract and feel a little bit nostalgic of our millennial years, then that's a good one.
Interesting. So Make It or Break It on Hulu, huh? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Switching gears a bit. This is the most up to date rather than throwback. This is Netflix selling the OC. which Jasmine is boycotting because of the drama.
Here's the thing is I love the houses. I like, where is like old school TLC, you know, like House Hunters and stuff. Can we do House Hunters?
House Hunters is still around, but it's just so incredibly scripted and staged that it's just kind of, they've been usurped by other shows that
we
are.
do like Selling OC without the drama.
There is a real estate show on Netflix that is about these like bajillion-dollar properties that are incredible that does not have drama. I'll have to send it to you. It's something like billion-dollar houses, million-dollar
homes or something.
Million-dollar homes, I think that's what it's called. And it's just about real estate. So Selling OC is my current trash. I usually have like
a trash
show that is somewhere.
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Yeah, love shows like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love is Blind, those kind of dating shows. And then if there's nothing in that realm, then real estate shows, real estate drama.
You ever do Kardashians?
No.
I never do Kardashian. I can't.
I'm not a Bravo girl. I don't like any of that reality TV on Bravo.
Yeah.
I never, like Housewives, none of that stuff got me. But Netflix has me pegged. Like the love shows on there, the drama shows on there.
They have a picture of you in HQ.
Just like on there, like bored with a peg through my nose or something.
Ideal viewer.
Yeah, they've got me because I watch it for the real estate. I'm sure everybody says that. They're like, I just watch it for the love and for the real estate, not the drama. But I tolerate the drama. I'm only about halfway through this current new season. I think it's season 3 is out. And oh Lord, my brief take on it, and I think I'm on just started episode 6, so I'm 5 out of I think 10. I don't actually know, but there's just a lot of manipulation and like my truth, people that just choose to dig their heels into their version of the story, which is not factual, but they like stand by it and believe their lie and call it my truth. Like, this is my truth and you don't have to believe me, but this is my truth. And I don't know if that's just an LA world thing or like bigger than that, but
I feel that's just like the story of like, I think it's very culturally accepted now.
Yeah,
this
it is.
whole
my truth
narrative of my truth. And I do think there is some truth to my truth.
Yeah.
But you're right. It comes back to, well, what's the data? Like what's not, what can't be.
So to give you the premise of the particular example that's just like super cringe about this series or this season, one of the characters went on a podcast after last season. So this was months and months ago when there was beef between her and another person in the office. And she went on a podcast and bashed that person to smithereens, and to the point where she was super inappropriate and said she was crazy, I think 9 times. Like, she's crazy. She's actually crazy. Like she was just really hammering this home. She's like, no, I really do think she might need to be medicated or institutionalized. Like she went really far with how crazy she thinks that person is. And then months go by, filming's over, podcast is filmed and not put out, and they've repaired their relationship, professionally speaking. They're not like friends, but they
can
moved
get
on.
along.
They moved on. And then now they're filming this new season, and that podcast put out a teaser of that clip of like her saying this person needs to be medicated, super crazy. And like the small specifics that she said like made that person know it was about her, even though they weren't named. And so the teaser of the podcast was like, listen in to see who she's talking about. And so a couple other women who are friends with that person confronted the shit talker and said, we know you're talking about this girl. Like, what the fuck? And she's like, this was not about her. And like, you guys are making a lot of assumptions and jumping to a lot of conclusions. I'm not talking about her. And, it's just, you're just talking. I'm not going to tell you who I was talking about because the beef is squashed. It's over. This was filmed months and months ago. It's not about her. Drop it. And then the full podcast comes out and she names her over and over again in the podcast. And everyone's just like, you're a fucking liar. Like, own up to it. You said that it wasn't about her and it was about her. And then she stands in this whole like, that was filmed so long ago and I didn't remember who I was talking about. And it was like that she pulled the amnesia card is how they referred to it, of just like, I'm a busy woman, I'm a single mom. And she just like built this whole narrative of like, she's above this drama. And, you know, she didn't remember that she said that. And she didn't remember who she was talking about when she said that. And she just didn't remember. And so instead of taking any accountability and like saying, you're right, I didn't mean to lie, I just didn't remember, and like having a adult conversation with the person who the drama was with, which to be fair, I haven't finished the season, so maybe she does end up confronting and apologizing, whatever. Yeah. But the initial response was, this is my truth, and I didn't remember saying that, and I didn't lie. I never lie. I do not lie. And like just like went hard on, this is my truth and I never lie, even though she lied. So
yeah, I mean, so I get like forgetting what you did months ago and what you said on a podcast months ago. But if it's brought back to you, like, here's your recording.
Yeah, it's literally out in the world.
You want to like it. I mean,
and this, unfortunately, this is one of the characters that I actually kind of liked. Like, she's pretty down to earth compared to a lot of the other plastic women, you know, there. Heavily, and by plastic, I mean like literally heavily
plastic surgery.
She's also plastic surgery, but her personality is very direct and she confronts people and she's not about the petty drama usually. So it was very unfortunate to see her dig her own grave. But aside from that, the real estate, I mean, I have to say that kind of real estate is super hit or miss for me. Like, I'm not a big minimalist, like super, like $10 million with all marble and no character in the entire house. You know, it's got amazing views, but it kind of looks like just like, I don't know. It's just all white and all sharp angles.
And probably like
you probably would, but it's just, to me, it's almost not bachelor pad, but it's just extremely modern. It makes me think of New Zealand, and they have like uber minimalism, modern sharp lines and everything. So a lot of the real estate I end up not loving and being like, how the hell is that worth like $10 million? And it's because it's LA and it's, you know, Laguna Beach and all the things. But there was a couple houses on there where I was like, okay, yep, that would be
nice.
Yep, I would take that one. Someone literally brought like Italy to Laguna Beach, and they brought like 300-year-old tiles and like fireplace from Paris from the 1800s, and like just like went to town on historical actual artifacts from Europe brought over, and the house is like priceless. They're going to try to put it at 30 million, even though it's not that big a house, but the house itself is just like, what the actual hell is this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So
cool.
Looks like you're in Italy. So selling OC, that's my take, and super sick of the hashtag my truth thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, moving right along. To a World War II.
Okay.
We're taking a sharp left turn here. So on Hulu, there's this TV show called We Were the Lucky Ones. And it's about this Polish family during World War II. And I think there's like 6 kids. And it's not complete yet. I think they're on episode 7 or something. I'm not sure how many they're going to do in the series. And I'm not sure if it's just a 1-season thing or if they'll do a different thing for another season. But it stars Joey King. Okay. And it's just really well done. Like, just really well done. They tell the story of, you know, the Warsaw Ghetto and how, you know, some of the siblings got out and could kind of pass for not Jewish. And so they're living undercover in broad daylight and working for, you know, people who believe that, you know, Jewish people should be in camps and all of that. And so it's really fascinating. And then there's even this storyline of a brother who was living in Paris when the war really starts to like come to France. And so he gets on a ship and he ends up in Argentina, I think, or Brazil, or like somewhere South America, and how, you know, he's separated and they're trying to get in touch with him and he's trying to get in touch with them, but there's just no communication. And yeah, it's just really fascinating. I love World War II stuff, and I think that there's a lot of stories told about, you know, the armed forces. And I think that there's a lot of stories told about what it was like, you know, Viktor Frankl, like living in
the camps.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just it's another interesting way to learn about this time in history from people who were also affected, but kind of in a different way. And I read books. I like World War II historical fiction as well. So I've read some things of like women spies and, you know, women in France who lived in the country and had to put up German soldiers and like all kinds of crazy shit.
Speaking of which, have you read or seen All the Light You Cannot See?
No, I have heard of it. I have not.
You would love it. I mean, it's exactly the same kind of like the families who are not directly, you know, they got out and they're like safe, but they're going through their own experience during World War II. And it's, you know, resistance movements that are super, super down low and like hidden in different towns. And it's about this like radio show that this little girl does. It's incredible. It's just like super deep and profound, but also really entertaining and like beautiful cinematography. And the book is, I've heard, incredible. I was gonna get it, but it was like reserved till Kingdom Come from the library. So went with the I think it was a TV show rather than a movie. I think it was like a short, you know,
limited
3
series
episodes.
or something. Yeah.
Definitely recommend that for you.
I think it's just like the courage. Like it just puts all of us little bitches to shame.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that people were dealing with then, it just...
Like, what the fuck are we complaining about?
I know.
So I really like it for that, like, perspective element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most millennials I know have a thing for World War II fiction and documentaries. It's just fucking mind-blowing that it was real.
Yeah, I think it's also like, it's, you know, a generation or two removed. Like it was my nan, who she was a child during World War II. Right. So I knew I've heard her story of the war since I was a baby. Yeah. So I think it's...
My grandmother, my Nana, who's my dad's mom, was flew fighter planes. She was a pilot in World War II among like literally 100 women in the world. I was going to say
there's like almost no women.
Yeah, her job was to pull the practice target behind the plane. So like she could get bombed at any moment, but she was like a fucking badass and like flew the fighter jet all around, and like she wasn't allowed to do real missions because she was a woman, but like she did all the training and like was one of the best pilots. So she was a badass. But yeah, so the fact that I have literally family that fought in it and was super involved is just, I think that's one connection. And yeah, like we're not like the next generation, we're 2 after it.
Because I'm sure like our parents got sick of hearing about like the war is over, mom.
The war.
Come on, you know. And I think that we don't quite have that same relationship with our grandparents. So I'm generalizing, of course, but
our experience. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's humanity's worst, you know. So for us to learn from it and study it, I think is a good thing. You know, the fact that our generation cares about it. Because there's other wars that. Nobody cares about it anymore, even though they're pretty important to know. But
I mean, and plus, if you look at like the number of people that were killed in World War II versus other wars, it's
insane.
It's a lot, but there's wars that have done worse.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so again, we're like polar opposites of like
here. It's okay.
Super zag.
It's okay.
So this is something on both of our lists that we'll shout out is the new movie by Jerry Seinfeld on Netflix called Unfrosted. That is a comedy all about Pop-Tarts.
That's right. It's about the creation, the invention of the Pop-Tart and the battle between Post and Kellogg's to put out the first, you know, toaster pastry into the market. And fun fact, they didn't tell Pop-Tart that they were doing this movie.
No
they
shit.
Did not tell Kellogg, and they did not tell Post.
They used their like low. I was literally thinking during the movie, I was like, man, they like really bought all the rights to everything.
That's what Brad told me. So it could be hearsay or whatever. But he said, they didn't talk to either of them. And I was like, you know what? It's fine because all the bitches buying Pop-Tarts after seeing this, because it's like one big cereal commercial.
Seriously.
There's so much cereal in it. There's all these Pop-Tarts. I mean, it got me looking like gluten-free.
I know.
Where's the gluten-free
I want some
Pop-Tarts?
cereal. I had cereal for dinner last night.
Yeah.
So they definitely got in my brain. But yeah, I mean, I really like, there were a couple elements that brought me back to our Crunchy episode because they really they put sugar on blast and all of the fucking chemicals that they put in kids cereals on blast. Like they were like, how artificial can we make this? We're going to invent this thing called high fructose corn syrup and nobody will know it's sugar.
There was this one moment, I think it's Max Greenfield. I think that's the name of the actor. He was in, what's that movie? Jess. It's Jess, you know, that TV show. Okay. Anyway. Was Zoe Deschanel.
Oh, okay.
You know that TV show I'm talking about? Anyway.
New Girl?
New Girl. So he was in New Girl. I think his name's Max. I'm sorry if that's not your name, Max Greenfield. And anywho, so they're trying to reinvent the Pop-Tart and trying to make themselves like stand out. And he's at Post and he's like, what if we just made everything out of healthy material and like it was all healthy goods and we took all the sugar and, you know, the next wave of Americans would grow up healthy and happy and fit. And the CEO literally clocks him with a typewriter.
Yes.
Like,
just like, you're done.
You're done. No, we need to add more sugar because we need them addicted to this.
Yes. And then the whole like framing the sugar industry like it's like the drug cartel.
Yes.
And having El Sucre as a character who's like the, you know, don't fuck with El Sucre. He's like the head of the whole sugar industry. And, you know, if you don't pay him, you die. And oh my God, like the subliminal messaging and like the not so, you know, subtle jabs at the cereal world and just like the food industry. Fucking incredible.
So good. So good. I mean, we did like, Brad and I went down the rabbit hole of, so what cereals did you eat? And what cereals did you eat? And then I talked to my mom. Hey, so what was cereal? So everybody in my life has been talking about the effect of cereal on our life. And like the Jontes, I mean, we have a thing called Cereal 30. Do you know about this?
No.
Oh, it's this thing.
Okay.
You know, when you like wake up at night and it could be like right after you fall asleep or you're trying to fall asleep or in the middle of the night and you wake up and you're just like, you're hungry and you can't sleep because you're a little hungry. So you get downstairs, you look at the cereals and you have Cereal 30 and usually in our house, if you were up having Cereal 30, someone else was also.
Really? You could have like those like TV powwows in the kitchen in the middle of the night?
Usually would only be one or two of us. But yeah, it was not uncommon that I would get up and my dad's in there having a bowl of cereal. Mom's getting a bowl of cereal. Jack's getting a bowl of cereal. Cereal 30.
That's
it's a Jonte family thing. And yeah, I mean, we ate a fuck ton of cereal.
Yeah, ditto.
But Mom was good about like no red dyes, no blue dyes. And she wouldn't let us get shit frosted. Like she was like cornflakes were yes, frosted flakes were a no.
Oh.
You know, like shredded wheat was okay, Chex was okay, but like Cocoa Puffs was a no. So
I was just gonna say my top cereals that were in my house were Cocoa Puffs or Reese's Puffs was the preference.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We had like every sugar, like we had Fruity Pebbles in there, but that wasn't my favorite. Like we had all of the worst.
Oh, we had Rice Krispies.
We had Rice Krispies, but that was more Mom's cereal. And if we had it, we'd dump a spoonful of sugar in it. Literally. Like big heaping scoop of sugar. And she showed it to us to do that.
She's I feel like I'd done that to cornflakes. I feel like I have sugared my cornflakes in past.
And then the best was that it would like sugar the milk and it would sink down at the bottom and then you just have this scoop of sugar milk.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh my God. Worst cereals. I mean, thanks, Mom. You gave me what I asked for, but I was, 5 and asked for the worst cereals ever. And that was our cereals. So
wow,
we were addicted.
Captain Crunch.
Yep, it was decent.
Mom ate a lot of Captain Crunch.
Is that not dyed? That has dyes in it.
Mom ate, no, the Captain Crunch, just the actual.
Oh, the
regular was yellow,
ones.
But the berries were
dyed.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, so it's hilarious because this has been a bit within. If you're a fan of Seinfeld, like. You'll know that he kind of has this bit about cereal and Pop-Tarts and it was in the show and he's done stand-up about it. And so this was probably like a wet dream for him to like make a movie all about it.
The cast was
holy shit,
literally insane. It was like every
comedian.
every comedian and every like actor that you love, and there was not a single character who wasn't like even small parts were not famous. Who's the guy from Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah. I can't think of his name.
He plays Tyrion.
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I think that's him. He was so good at. He fucking owned that role.
Yeah.
I was
all of them did.
So impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the cast was
unreal. Yeah.
I was like, he just opened his phone and was like, who do I think is the most funny?
I'm surprised he didn't get like Tina Fey, Maya Rudolph, like his kind of older generation of like SNL people. He had some new SNL people on there who were like still on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe they were busy doing other things, but Amy Schumer, you know, they had and Bill Burr being the JFK. Oh my God, it's so good. The cast, incredible.
So good.
Everyone owned it. So Unfrosted on
Unfrosted.
Netflix. Go
see it and eat some Pop-Tarts while you're at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is also on Hulu, but you can watch it on like TV. Abbott Elementary.
Oh yes, I know this one for you.
I think it's season 3 we're in right now. Quinta Brunson is the showrunner and the lead. And ever since the first episode this has come out, I have thought that it is just brilliant. Like the writing, the storylines, it is so. It's about a school in Philly and the things that the teachers and the kids have to go through in that kind of a district that, you know, a suburban school, a charter school might not go through.
Right.
And
which you know something
which
about.
I know a thing or two about, and it is just like makes me belly laugh, and I think it's partially because it's like my humor too. Yeah. It's pretty clean. Like it's not. I would say it's very clean. It's clean humor, and it's just fucking funny.
Is it something that kids and parents could watch, or would it not be appropriate?
I think kids and parents could watch it. Yeah. But the writing is really good, and then the characters, like the actors, man, they just own their parts. I mean, it's just really, really amazing to watch. And it's mockumentary style, so it's done in the style of The Office as well, which is like another added element that I really like.
No laugh track.
What does that mean?
No laugh track, like no artificial laughter added to it. It's just like straight.
Yeah.
Awkward humor.
And I love some of the things that they've taken from like other mockumentaries like The Office. You know how in The Office Jim always like randomly like looks at the camera?
Yeah.
Well, they have a guy who does that. And every time it's just hilarious. He just does it. He's got the perfect face for it.
Nice.
It's just so funny. So yeah, I love it. I love kind of the awareness that it's bringing. And yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just really,
and that
really
was
good.
the show that you told me that you want to write a script for one day.
Maybe.
It's on your list.
Yeah.
The ideal shows of beautiful writing, that's been on your list for a long time. Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, I just think it's just genius. And you know what? They've won a fuck ton of awards. So
good on them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of awards.
All right, so that's your comedy. And now we're on the same lane for the first time.
Yay!
So speaking of clean comedy, Nate Bargatze, it's spelled Bargatze, but he says Bargatze, so I'm going to go with it, even though it's an A. He has been on tour recently, and comedy, like stand-up, is a thing now. Like it is, there are as many, it feels like, stand-up specials on Netflix as like shows and movies. Like it's like really heavily promoted the comedy industry. But anyway, so I found Nate on Netflix and have seen all of his specials several times. I find him hilarious. All clean comedy, never says any cuss words, all that kind of stuff. And just really, he portrays himself as being very dumb, and he's from the South, but he's actually not dumb, but he talks about just things that you don't realize in life until you're like older than you should be, you know, like I'm today years old when I learned something. He does that kind of humor a lot, where he's like, I was today years old when I learned that, like blah blah blah, like just whatever. And
the Chick-fil-A logo has a chicken as a part of the C.
Yep. Like that was one of your recent ones.
Like, yes. I was like, oh, the
that's
logo has that's a chicken on the got it. Okay.
Yep. But so yeah, he portrays himself in that way of just like, I don't know how I didn't understand this, earlier. But Matt and I got tickets to his tour. It's called the Be Funny Tour. Because he's like exploded in the last like 2 years or something. Like he's had these specials out. He's been touring for a long time, but just like the last special and the last couple of years, he has just like blown up, and he has a podcast, all the things. And so I think he feels pressure now because his audience is so much bigger. It's like, be funny, and so Matt and I got tickets to his Phoenix show recently, and we were in the Netflix special. So I'm just praying to the I don't know, the Netflix gods that I got some zoom in on a big laugh, because like I cry laughed so many times on that special. So I'm promoting it early because they literally just filmed it and it's not out yet, but literally his best set yet. If you're a Nate Bargatze fan or if you like clean humor, I recommend it. It's going to be so funny. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
I don't think I've ever laughed that hard at a comedian.
I hope that you do get a zoom in because, you deserve some celebrity status.
I mean, obviously that's what earns it for you.
Duh. 100%. Reminds me like one time I was in an IUP commercial. I went to IUP. Mm-hmm. It's a college in Pennsylvania. And I'd have people texting me all the time of my face. And so that's what's in your future, Ellen. You're getting a lot of text messages. Oh, I saw you.
I had that actually too. I was on promotional materials for U of R for a while, and I got texts like that of like, look, it's you. You're on a poster in a magazine. I'm like, yay. Look at us, college famous.
I know. One of my buddies, he was on a billboard.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right. That's legit.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, but you get a lot of text messages when you're on a billboard.
Yeah, I bet. So yeah, be funny. Look for it probably next year sometime.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
So my next one is on Apple TV, which, fun fact, I don't know if I will ever unsubscribe from Apple TV because I'm so grateful that it did Ted Lasso. Like, true. I think that literally, like, you can just have $6 a month for the rest of my life because
it's only $6.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, at least when I bought it, it was $6.
We unsubscribed a while ago just because there was no shows that we were watching for months at a time, but
I don't care.
Then Ted Lasso came out and we missed it.
Like you've won my business for life with Fair. Ted Lasso. Fair. Just like just one season would have been enough probably to do that. So anywho, on Apple, recently I've been watching Loot with Maya Rudolph. It is in season 2. And this is another one that makes me just belly laugh. It is pretty clean humor. Not like they do curse and things like that, but like generally very clean, lighthearted, innocent humor. And the whole premise is Maya Rudolph's character was married to a billionaire, kind of like a Bezos type, if you will. And then they get divorced and she gets half of his money. And so she's just giving it away to like building things. And like she's on this mission to literally give away all of her money. But the whole point is like she's never done anything in her, like she helped build his company, but she never, like she doesn't know how to do laundry. Probably she's never really cooked her meals. Like, so it's just kind of this, she's learning what the people of the world need who aren't like her. And like anytime any of the staff like has a problem, she's like, well, just take my jet. Like,
nice.
Like, what do you mean? Why can't you just take my jet? Like, she's very confused why people kind of struggle. Yeah. Nice. And it's hilarious. And the cast is very, very good. It's very diverse. They've cast like, they're very representative, I think, of the people of LA because it's based in LA.
Oh,
so,
okay.
And yeah, the writing is also very good. And what's great about season 2 is there's just been a little bit more time for character development. So there's some characters who kind of were more in the background in season 1. They're kind of getting some more airtime. And so seeing some of those new, like Ted Lasso, there was like some new talents that came through. I'm kind of seeing the same thing here, which I really appreciate.
Nice.
So, Loot.
Nice. I'm going to definitely watch that.
Yeah. Oh my God. And her house.
And I will be there for the real estate, but Maya Rudolph also makes me laugh. Every
time.
My
God. She's so funny.
Yeah. Well, so my throwback show that I watched for comfort recently, is This Is Us.
Which, like, for comfort, that shit makes you
It's
cry.
so wholesome and wonderful. You watched the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It's weird going back and watching it a little older as parents now, and then just like seeing it in continuous. Because like I was watching week by week the new seasons.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it was
true.
real time. So you don't always remember all of the different storylines that they followed through and just kind of the character development until you can be able to like really binge it. And we're taking it, you know, like an episode at a time. It's not like a super bingey show, especially because it's so heavy a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But it is so. I could do a really deep dive on like how beautifully it delves into like the human condition.
Oh, 100%.
And like the dynamics, the very real family dynamics and like identity dynamics, like how you become yourself and how you confront your demons from your early, you know, from your 20s or from earlier in your life, and how you evolve as a person, and how parents evolve as people in becoming parents, and just, you know, the foster system. My brother Alec has recently started fostering, you know, and I mean, talk about jumping into the deep end of parenthood. Like you're jumping into the middle of someone's childhood who have been through fucking hell and back, and they don't know that life is any different than how it is for them. And I mean, we have pretty regular conversations about parenthood, and it's wild because, you know, here I am like at the beginning of Grace's life, and, you know, I produced her out of my body, and he's in the middle of someone's journey and only has a short blip with them. And, you know, they're already a fully formed little person with all of their ideas of the world, and they're not their biological kids. So all that to say, you know, I'm only, I think, towards the end of the first season, and Matt and I are just boohooing. Like, it's just so good. And like the parenting lessons, like now watching it with the parenting lens, I think it's really, really powerful. And like, you know, the dynamics between Kate and her mom, and like that difficult dynamic between, you know, the mom who's beautiful and skinny and a great singer, and Kate who always struggled with her weight and always felt less than as a singer compared to her mom, because her mom would always compare herself. And so you see these two really incredible parents fuck it up, you know, like you see them like doing absolutely everything in their power to break patterns from her mom and from, you know, Jack's dad, and still like you're not going to produce perfect people. Like you're not going to do it perfectly, and you're not going to produce perfect people. They're going to still have their, you know, journey to navigate. So just a lot of wisdom, and a lot of like, it's a great, I call, you know, I have a practice in my arsenal for clients who struggle to like identify or feel their feelings in real time. Like they'll be like bottle it up and feel it like 10 months later and be like, oh, like I've never dealt with that thing. And so sometimes it's really hard to just like look directly in the eyeballs of like trauma or something that's really upsetting. So sometimes we just need to express those feelings from another outlet that's not directly about our shit. So I call it sadness on purpose, or at anger on purpose, where it's like, I'm going to watch this thing to cry. Like that is my mission today. I'm going to go watch this and cry. And it may not be about the thing that I need to cry about, but it is opening my emotional like tank, or emptying the emotional tank rather. And so to me, you know, I haven't been going through the things that you've been going through, but I have my own stuff. And to me, this has just been a really nice outlet to every now and then plug into the show and gain some life wisdom and cry. It's good. It's good for
Brad
me.
does that. Because he, you know, bottles things up. He'll be the first to tell anybody. And yeah, it's why, like, if there's a sad movie, like, I'll cry, but he will boo-hoo. I mean, he will, like, full body sobs, right? And I think that's definitely a big reason why it's like, oh, okay, I'm crying, so now let me cry about all the things I haven't cried about.
Yes,
since the last time I watched a sad movie.
yes,
yeah,
exactly. And then I had a bonus one, if I may throw it in.
I have one.
Oh, nice. Okay, do you want to do your bonus?
So mine, I'm taking us back to World War II.
Okay, here we go.
Also on Apple TV, Masters of the Air.
Yes, you were telling me about this.
So there's Band of Brothers, which was, I think came out 20 years ago, and it was about the Army during World War II. And then, no, that was 20 years ago. And then 10 years ago, this is Steve Spielberg, came out with The Pacific, which is about the Marines in the Pacific Theater. And then this is the most recent, which is Masters of the Air, which is about the Air Force and specifically the bomber pilots who would fly and drop bombs, which was interesting because the fighter pilots, they only had so much gas, like they could only go so far and they were fast. So they would get the bombers to where they could, and then it was the bombers on their own, like over enemy territory, dropping bombs, just hoping that they don't get shot down by the German fighter pilots who were close to their gas. Yeah.
Damn.
It was, so it's just, I mean, they called this I think it was the 100th Airborne thing. They called it the Bloody 100th because it was just like, they would go out and just not like.
Yeah. Suicide missions, basically.
Yeah. And so that was really, it was really fascinating, and, you know, it's really well done, and they tie in a lot of different kinds of stories of the guys, and it's all based on real people.
Oh, nice.
So all 3 of these series are based on books written by World War II vets, interviews with World War II vets. And in the first 2 series, they actually have interview footage with the real, you know, so if like Buck was one of the characters, they would actually have an interview with Buck himself. But now, you know, we're kind of past the point where the World War II vets are still around. So they don't have that for this last one. But like the cinematography, everything about this was just.
Did you watch the other series of like Band of Brothers and the other?
I didn't see Band of Brothers. I saw parts of the Pacific because Brad watched it and I was kind of around. This is the first one I really got into. And I think it's because the other 2 I feel like are even more gory. Like this one definitely.
I mean, yeah, infantry, like you're going to watch people get blown up. Like,
and Marines, right? You know, and I think that I saw some of the scenes there and I was like, oh, I don't know. I think I could probably go back and watch it now that I've seen this one. But it was like, I don't know, something about, and I don't know if it's just, I knew a couple of the actors in it and it was on Apple TV and whatever, but yeah, I got roped. I mean, and it came out once a week. Now it's all out, but we watched it as it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good one.
What's that called again? Masters of the Air?
Masters of the Air.
Okay. And mine, I'm going to deviate from our TV movie trajectory here and just shout out a resource that I have been like every night. Matt and I sit down and read aloud a chapter of this book together. I've shouted it out several times on this podcast, but I'm rereading it now as a full-fledged parent and not as a pregnant person, called The Unconscious Parent. And I can't think of her name right now, but I will have it.
Shefali?
Yeah, I don't know if Shefali, Dr. Shefali something, but I will link it in the description. And golly, it encapsulates everything that I aspire to practice as a parent. In that, you know, I think there's the trend of parenting these days is focused on gentle parenting.
Yes.
And that's like kind of the hot buzzword for parenting style now, which is our millennial kind of knee-jerk response back to the way that we were parented, which, you know, your family is an exception. I think it's generally more authoritarian style, just different parenting styles from our parents to us. And so now us, like every generation has their kind of trend and the thing they want to do different than their parents. And this bucks that, even the gentle parenting trend, because gentle parenting can verge on permissive parenting, where like you just have these entitled children that get everything that they want and they don't have discipline. And they just don't understand consequences of their actions. I mean, every generation thinks that the next generation is entitled, but like there's just this kind of, to me, there's a gap in the gentle parenting philosophy. I understand the premise of like being respectful and nonviolent and like speaking to children like they are humans and people, which I agree with, that are baked into the gentle parenting methodology. So with that, I am a huge advocate and support, but, with that can be a little bit difficult to also set boundaries and implement discipline in a respectful and clear way. Like
to give you an example, I saw an Instagram reel and it was a therapist, probably some guy who's a parenting coach or therapist or something. And he was reacting to a video of a woman who's sitting on the bed with her newborn, looked like a newborn, but it could be, 0 to 5 months maybe. And then the toddler's there, and the toddler like either flicks or pinches or does something to actually physically hurt the newborn. And the mom says like, that wasn't kind, right? And the feedback was, instead she should have said something like, ouch. And like, I can see that, but it's also like because they're both your kids and you don't want them to feel like you're being shunned for a choice that you maybe didn't know was wrong. But like the kid probably knew that wasn't a good choice, So I just think about that and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't even know if I'm allowed to weigh in on this conversation or whatever, but like,
and it's so like, sometimes it's like splitting hairs. 'Cause like, saying that wasn't kind is a better response than just like spanking the child, like there's like so much on the spectrum of responses that like saying that wasn't kind. Yes, there might, if you hindsight is 2020, you might have 7 other things that you could have said that would have been more effective. Why that person filmed it and put it up there, if they, if there were some better things to say, I don't know. Maybe they thought that was the best thing they could have said. But yeah, I mean, like that's a perfect example because Grace is in full toddlerhood right now. Like she walks around, talks, like she's got opinions about everything. She's got she vocalizes things she wants and does not want. And she's getting more physical, like she's kind of getting stronger and more confident, and she is mimicking some behavior from another child she interacts with a lot who is a hitter. Like he hits a lot of kids, and this is kind of a thing. So now she's imitating, and she's not only hitting, I think all babies have a physical outburst. Like when they're having a tantrum, they want to hit something.
They feel
or,
things
like,
very
something.
quickly.
Yeah, they feel really deeply and intensely. Like they have the exact same emotional spectrum that an adult has. They just have no tools to understand what they're feeling and how they're feeling and how to express it in a way that's like doesn't hurt them or other people.
But they also don't have the inhibition to hold it in.
Exactly. So they feel it all and they just all comes out.
They feel it all comes out and then it's over. It's kind of like a dog, honestly.
It's great. It's great. It's memory of a goldfish.
Yes.
But it's wonderful because I feel like, one thing on my, parenting journey is teaching her the tools that I didn't receive to like express my emotions honestly and not repress or bottle up or, do the other things that I did with the emotions or be shamed for how I was feeling or things like that. So I'm teaching her it's totally normal and okay to feel your feelings. And there are boundaries. Like we do not hit. Like when she gets really upset and she wants consolation, she wants to be held or something, sometimes she'll still be in the throes of the tantrum and want to hit me. And so like, it's really, you're always trying to find the thing to say in the moment, which you can think, it's good to think outside of the moment for those moments of preparation or even in hindsight. I think that's just like always part of the parenting journey is you're just like kind of constant assessment of like what's working and what's not working and what can I say that's more in alignment with how I want to be. And with her hitting, like I'm trying to, instead of like shaming her for the things that she's doing wrong, I will, the redirect style of like, when I'm really angry, sometimes I need to go for a walk and we can stomp around and like stomp, stomp, stomp. And so we'll like stomp around the room instead of using our hands to hit. And then if she's just playfully hitting, like she's just like, because she's mimicking the kid, then I'm like, oh, do you want to give me a high five? Like we can hit hands all day long, and like teaching her appropriate hitting rather than, using her hands to hit people just to see the reaction or something, and I mean, I don't know if what I'm doing is right or wrong. It's just trying to impart to me, the premise of conscious parenting is about being very aware of your own patterns and your own knee-jerk responses, because as much as I can do to prepare the right things to say in these moments, sometimes you just kind of freeze and you're just like, I don't know what to say. And like, they hurt you. Like sometimes like she's hurt both Matt and me a couple of times where it's like we're out of nowhere, like she'll do something or, not sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. And, sometimes you just don't have the thing to say in your brain at that moment. And you learn a lot about yourself and the way that you were parented. And that's kind of subconscious and unconscious programming comes out. No matter how much work you've done. And so this book, Matt and I read out loud and then we discuss the kind of core message of the chapter and kind of talk about action steps from there. And it's just been so helpful. I have read a decent amount of parenting books and I think I'm like rereading them now, having a kid rather than preparing for a kid. And I just can't recommend the resource enough. It's all about being, which is my bag, and how you show up and the things that you don't say can be as important as the things that you do say. So it's good shit. So Unconscious Parent, I'm going to link it below.
It'll be a documentary soon. Just kidding.
Yeah, I wish.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
But thanks for listening, y'all. And so for reals, listener, mother pupper, we would love to hear from you. Jasmine and I are on a mission to create a dialogue with you all. So if you could email us at dogmomsdobusiness.com and send us any comment, any question, any suggestion, we are open. We would love to hear from you.
And we'd love to shout you out.
Seriously.
So if you have a recommendation of something that you are watching, Hulu, Netflix, Apple TV, whatever the fuck, send it to us so we can share it with other listeners and give you a shout out.
Yes. Amen. All right. Thanks for listening.
Dogmomsdobusiness@gmail.com.
All right. Bye, mother puppers.
Toodles.